Creating a spec ad is not that difficult, and you don't really need to have as much as you think you need. So I recently made a spec ad for Fender instruments. My challenge for myself was pretty much to shoot a spec ad without leaving the apartment. I wanted to shoot a Fender ad. And the reason I chose Fender was just because I always loved Fender guitars. I love my Fender Telecaster. Always love Fender amps. Big Fender boy over here. I guess without further ado, let's just watch the ad. We'll go over it. We'll go over how I shot it. I'll give you guys some practical, good advice that you can apply to almost any shoot, but it'll be a little more geared towards shooting spec ads or even shooting a commercial ad for your next gig. So let's have a look. Okay, so let's talk about the idea behind the ad initially. First off, my kind of restriction was I wasn't feeling too hot and I wanted to stick around in the apartment. Having that be my restriction, I was like, okay, so we're gonna focus on mainly mediums. We're gonna focus on macro shots, very close-ups. I didn't have any talent. My talent was me. So if you have a particular skill outside of videography or something that you like to study, use that as your practice for your spec ad. Because if you just, don't put your face in it, it looks like you hired talent. It looks like you had someone talented come for this shoot. When in reality, I shot this in a corner of my apartment that had the most blank wall possible. My message that I was trying to carry across was that Fender guitars, they're sturdy and they're reliable. My guitars also beat. It's clapped, brother. So that was kind of the main reason why I focused on a lot of these macro shots. This is an old guitar and it still works. It still plays great. It still sounds great. Like, go for that kind of vibe with the ad. After I had got all these shots and the basic premise of the idea, I decided to put it in black and white. And here's why. The guitar is old, so make the ad look old. Add the film grain, make the ad look like it's some old black and white film that it's shot on. If the guitar is old and it still plays, make the ad look old and make it still have presentability. You don't sell musical instruments because they're trendy. It's not a quick sale. Buying a guitar is a big decision. I honestly would compare it to buying a car. You want something that's reliable. You pick up and play, throw it in a case, go on tour, come back, everything still works. Studio session next week, tomorrow. Like a step-in gig where you're just, you're stepping in for another. It's always there, it's always ready, it's always reliable. Piece of advice number one, kind of mentioned it already, but create contextual editing. If I'm trying to sell the reliability of these guitars, if I'm trying to show people how reliable and great these guitars are, try to play it up in a way, lean into the creative side of that. You can make it look like it's shot on black and white film. You can make it look like it's shot on Super 8. Have your color grade, have your editing style be cohesive with what you're shooting. You're not just showing people the guitar and its reliability, Show that in the color grade, show that in the vibe, show that in everything. It's not something that's necessarily mandatory, but it's something that can put you above and beyond when it comes to a client's work. And you want to impress people, right? You want to be able to explain why you've made these creative choices. Think about the creative choices. Think about how subconsciously a viewer might perceive something. Piece of advice number two, everyone's heard this a million times, but overshoot. Even if the shot looks bad, even if you're kind of like, I think this looks cool, but I don't think it'll work, shoot it anyway. Shoot everything. I'm not saying keep the camera recording the entire time. That's just gonna create an absolute inefficient headache in the post process. I've been in tons of situations where I've made edits for different clients and found that had I just taken that bad shot or that bad idea, it would have made my hero shot look better. They can contextualize different shots and kind of create, I hate using this word over and over, but it can establish a vibe and a feeling, as opposed to just jump cutting from one place to another. Even if you have this shot that goes in between that, on its own, it looks awful. In context between two different shots, that awful shot can do a lot of help and do a lot of benefit to your edit. So please, please, please do me and yourself the favor, overshoot. It's way, way better to leave half of your footage on the cutting room floor than to set aside another 3, 4, 5 hours to do another shoot. Number three, obviously I mentioned I shot this entire ad just in my apartment. Do not be afraid to restrict yourself. Put the gimbal down, put away the big rig, take the matte box off. If you have one piece of gear that you rely upon for every shoot, take it away. Stop using it. Don't build a shoot around that restriction, but come up with a great shoot idea and make it without your favorite piece of gear. Because I promise you, you're gonna come up with new, more efficient ways of shooting for the day that you possibly, You have that hiccup, you forget a piece of gear. You don't have it, no problem. You've already done this before. You'd be doing something that would make you stand out just with that little bit. And when you stack those things on top of each other, you become undeniable. You become your own thing. You create your own style that way. So embrace restriction. It's very good for your brain too. Very good to come up with different ways of problem solving, especially in videography, where something that might seem so small can be a massive hiccup in a production, right? Piece of advice number 4. This is one that's already been iterated a million times. Play around with shutter speeds. I know that it's the typical rule to always shoot in a 180 degree, but as you'll see in the ad, I think I shot most of that footage at a 400th. The reason it's used for action scenes is to really make things carry weight. It implies focus. It implies high energy. That was the feeling I was going for with the guitar playing. You know, I've seen several music videos in the past, like from my favorite bands, where they record the guitars with high shutter rates because you can actually see the string sine wave. The slow shutter rate, dreamlike thing is getting a little bit overused. You know, if you shoot in 24 frames a second, shooting at a 20th or shooting at a 15th, but when you have like little pockets of it, it works so well, especially when the camera is in motion. You know, shooting live events, you're at the front of the crowd, front stage. If you can get a quick orbital shot, it looks super good. And that is a quick shot that you can grab. Super easy to do. You just need to think ahead, quickly adjust some of your settings on your camera, and you can hammer that out no problem at all. Play around with that stuff. Don't just work on your craft and learn new techniques. Work on your style. Work on your visual identity. Piece of advice number 5. This is something I've yet to try, but I've pondered with it in my head. The first thing you do when you're starting to plan out a shoot, think of the most difficult shot you can make. Think of a shot that is gonna make other creators be like, how the hell did he get the camera there? How did he do that? Then you're not only impressing the clients, to be fair, they might not be blown away. Things like that can sometimes go a little bit unmissed. But what catches my attention and what really inspires me and makes me push forward is when I see shots where it's like, I honestly have no idea how they did that. That's really clever. And whether it's done in post or it's done in camera or a mixture of the two, it still looks great. If you can impress an editor, if you can impress a filmmaker, chances are you're gonna impress your clients. Piece of advice number 6. I kind of touched on this earlier, but don't take it too serious. For the love of God, especially in spec work, it doesn't need to be that serious. Ads are allowed to be funny. You can have great lighting and great cinematic shots while still being funny and having a sense of humor. Not everything needs to be the next cool, hip Nike ad. As long as it's not promoting anything unsafe and it's in the correct context, you can always add a little bit of humor and lightheartedness to your edits. I think it's really easy to get caught up in your head and be like, all right, I'm about to go Nolan mode. Think about why you started all this stuff. You started because you got a great eye and you wanted to have some fun, right? So do that, stick with that. Don't take yourself too seriously. Grab your camera, go have fun. Don't forget how to grab a camera and have fun. Okay, and final piece of advice. This is one that I've never done, but I need to do it. If you have a rock solid idea, shoot and edit the whole thing on your phone. Just on your phone. Get the easiest to use video editing software on your phone, whether it's CapCut or whatever. Piece together your edit. And if your edit involves specific post effects or anything like that, throw a caption on it over the video just to remind yourself to do it when you do shoot the real thing. Rather than picking up your camera and trying to book all this stuff and then finding out, damn it, I'm missing like that one shot or even 2 or even 3, a whole day of shooting is what you're missing. Nothing beats being organized when it comes down to editing and shooting the entire ad or the entire piece of work that you're working on. Having the edit in your head and even on your phone ready, completed to look at while you're shooting with the expensive cameras, especially if you're renting equipment. If you're renting a nice camera and a full light kit and all this stuff, you do not want to be wasting time and you do not want to go over budget. You do not want to be pushing yourself with an extra shoot day or even 2 extra shoot days. Shoot the whole project on your phone. You're creating a habit that's going to benefit you for years to come. I've already done several shoots where I'm just like, damn, this would have gone way smoother if I just took 2 hours to just dick around on my phone and shoot everything and come up with ideas and brainstorm with my friends and stuff like that. Saves you a ton of time. I really hope that this video could have helped you guys. What's the best piece of advice? What's something in this video that you've tried yourself? Comment below, let me know. I do my best to respond to all the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. New videos every second Sunday. I've been Taylor at Goodnight Lab, and peace out, Playboy.